So earlier today on Reddit and on Twitter, I saw this image going around the internet. And it was taken from what I learned to be LinkedIn as a kind of theory for what NFTs could bring. And so as a software engineer myself, I thought I would dive into this theoretical proposition that Nicholas here is proposing. And generally speaking, after reading this, I more or less got curious as to the source of this, because this is an image. Where did it come from? Is it legitimate? And I actually did find the source. I did find LinkedIn where this post is. And so I went ahead and highlighted a few passages from it. I thought I'd take you guys through it, give you my thoughts, especially as a software engineer, and actually explore some of probably the most entertaining comment section that I've seen on the internet to date, probably minus some of the comments that I will read here on this very video. So I look forward to your memes and your jokes and whatnot. But all in all, like my view of NFTs, I've stated it before, I'll state it here as a TLDR just in case you're curious. I find the technology interesting. I find the implementation of it concerning, especially as it relates to gaming. Pay to earn makes kind of like puts a little vomit in your mouth or something like that. It does make me concerned for the future of a pastime. But at the end of the day, like the software engineer in me says, oh, there could be some interesting things that could come out of it. And so there's a juxtaposition. There's that kind of battle that's going on in my mind. But overall, I figured I would break down my thoughts of what is being presented here, just as a form of discussion. If you guys want to weigh in with your thoughts, obviously sound off below. We can have that conversation. All right. Anyhow, Nicholas starts off, says, the year is 2030. It's a rainy Saturday afternoon. You've just finished mining 30 obsidian ore, playing Crypto Crash Saga, a 3-match mobile game. You open up your Elder Chains Online and feel a rush of excitement. Your buddy from school has spent the last 2 years becoming a master blacksmith, and he has agreed to turn 10 obsidian ore into an obsidian battle staff, a huge upgrade over the mithril mace that you've been wielding the past few weeks. It'll take him an hour or so, and in the meantime, you hop on to Clash of Guilds and use the remaining obsidian to upgrade your town hall to the next level. That should keep you and your village safe for now. You wish you could fast forward time to tonight. Your guild plans to go for a deep run into the wilderness in old school rune chains, and your prospects of a successful run and great loot have never been better. All members have been spending the last 2 weeks grinding for better weapons, and you've all agreed through a vote to use your guild treasury to buy everyone a full set of red dragonhide armor. Tonight's objective is to kill the level 128 frost giant hiding in the Cave of Sorrow. He has a 5% chance of dropping the Immaculate Orb of Brilliance, of which there are currently only 4 in existence. The orb can then be used to power a source in an upcoming space exploration game, and should be able to give your guild an advantage in reaching distant galaxies first. The 5% drop rate is low, but you're feeling optimistic. In the distance, you hear a faint, blockchain doesn't bring anything new to games. You shrug and you join your friends in the Discord voice channel. Life is good. Hashtag blockchain gaming. So, wanted to kind of talk about this essentially kind of both as the MMO player in me and also the software developer in me. The first thing that comes to mind is that everything he kind of details out here doesn't require blockchain to operate. In fact, the software engineer in me says, is the company that is building all of these games, like, are they already in cahoots? Because if you bring something like 30 ores obsidian into your friend in a different game where he's leveled up blacksmithing, like just gameplay wise and design wise alone, you run the risk of like weird inflation, like materials are just materializing in your game out of nowhere. And so the developer says, like, you have to have an understanding of NFTs and these economies and these relationships all before like you really build out your game. Going in and trying to add this after the fact, I think is going to end up causing all kinds of problems. And so obviously they're representing that the 30 obsidian ore is an NFT, and it can then transfer into other games. And the question then is like, okay, well, those other games actually have to be aware of what that means. And thus, if you're talking about programming, you got to be a company that owns the Crypto Crush Saga, that owns the whatever the game is, that you're the Elder Chains Online, and then essentially you go into Clash of Guilds to kind of pass some time. And honestly, like, this kind of looks like a Microsoft ecosystem already, with them buying Activision Blizzard and them, like owning Elder Scrolls Online. And so that, like, there are some connections here to the real world that I want to point out. But also the MMO player in me says, isn't that what a theme park MMO is? Like, in terms of what we've seen, how MMOs have evolved, World of Warcraft feels like it's got mobile games included in it. All this is really kind of detailing out is the connection from, you know, another game that's completely disconnected, and then being able to use resources from that game to bring it into another game, which, like, again, from a MMO perspective, which is all what this is kind of detailing out, I think it would cause huge problems with the economy, and that play to earn, you know, mentality. Imagine feeling like you had to play Crypto Crush Saga all the time, or you're letting your friends down who've also been spending the past 2 weeks grinding for better weapons. Like, this sounds like a feverish nightmare, not a you know, blockchain, you know, enjoyment experience. If, like, on paper, that's where sometimes things on paper sound great, where I could sit down and say, like, on paper this works great, but in reality, human psychology kicks in, and all of a sudden you have, like, you know, like kid farms going off and farming out Crypto Crush Saga to generate resources so that people can sell these NFTs, right? Like, the reality of is, as soon as this becomes an ecosystem and a business, like, you're looking at a future that isn't what do they say? Life is good. It's going to be life is a grind. Like, and life already is a grind, and video games end up being that separation. They end up being that breath of fresh air, sometimes that escape, right? But imagine not feeling like that. And then it goes into, and this is where I think some of the comments that I saw on Reddit I thought were genius, like, only has a 5% drop rate. Like, oh, they wish something that says that you don't know MMOs. Like, you wish you had a 5% drop rate. That's a huge drop rate. That means that if there's only 4 in existence, now, obviously, RNG is RNG, but you could kind of almost assume that if there's only 4 in existence, that maybe this beast has only been failed 99 times. So probably like a tough fight. That kind of makes sense. But in the grand scheme of things, that the fact that this Orb of Brilliance is also being planned in for some version of a future game that you might not be interested in playing whatsoever, this theoretical group is, what does that Orb of Brilliance do in the game that you're currently in? And so there's some serious design flaws in this document and in this kind of, you know, NFT wet dream that is being proposed. Again, the technology is interesting in terms of it, but, like, all of a sudden in your game planning and design phase, you have to design an account for that, and then you also have to put somebody to program that, and you got to have an idea of what these ecosystems are doing. Because imagine if you crash the Obsidian market, why farm Obsidian in the core game when you would farm it in Crypto Crush Saga instead, as that is essentially what you end up doing, or you end up trying to double dip and do them all at the same time. Like, this sounds like a very stressful experience at the core of it, but then also at the same time, this also sounds like a theme park based MMORPG in which that you have this match 3 game that could exist within the same game. You could then have that crafting and gathering system, the Clash of Guilds to pass your time while you wait for your raid. Like, this sounds like what the MMO theme park model is, only broken up across multiple applications. And then essentially the practical question is why, and then who does it, who puts the work in, codes it, and makes that happening. But to highlight some comments, I really like Liam here follows it up, says everything in this story is entirely technical possible today without the use of blockchain. I 100% agree with that. And then I liked Nick here says, yet I'll still get pwned by kids half my age and will be called a virgin. So yeah, I think that sums up this post, I think, really well. Hopefully you guys got some good insight for me. I know this isn't a long post, but something that I kept seeing float across my feed today. Thought I'd weigh in, especially when I started looking into this, especially as it relates to this company, Future of Gaming, here on. Let me just see if I can't slide this across. The editor in me in real time. Let's see your desktop background. Future Gaming over on Reddit. I decided to follow it and see what's going on. Essentially, big crypto believers, big crypto viewpoint in terms of blockchain, NFTs, and things like that. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll see if anything comes out of that. Obviously, I'll be keeping you guys up to date on any and all of these future endeavors and experiments within gaming. My personal take, both as a gamer and a software engineer, that's what you can expect, guys. If you feel like you earn it, like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more of these discussion and news videos. But yeah, thanks for being here. Hopefully you have a great day. Hopefully I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.
Yeah. It's time to chill out. on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to destiny. I'm off with a clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh,